These two things that I'm about to talk about, if you were to listen to all the bodybuilders and fitness influencers and the evidence-based blah blah blah, all of these people would not bring up these two factors first, if at all. And the reason why is because they're not like you and I. Their whole world is about catering to other bodybuilders or people who think they're advanced, and that's not how the rest of us live our lives. Okay, so my name is Ranbir Sangera. I am the owner of the Burrito Diet, the gym formerly known as San Jose Barbell, and I've been coaching people since 2012, and in person and online, and I've done all kinds of cool things, and they are cool especially because I am a regular person like you or anybody else. I'm about 5'11", about 155 pounds, and I was a skinny fat Indian guy, not somebody who would think, oh wow, you must be strong and athletic. But because I was not, I figured those things out, and how that they're accessible to everybody. All right. So if you give me a couple minutes, let's get into these two things. Okay. So the first thing that you need, okay, in your training is going to be fun. Okay. And before you click off or you move on, look, let me tell you something. The majority of people, they're not obsessed, at least initially, in training the body like some people who have been doing it for a longer time, or like these influencers and stuff, right? And that's their primary job. And so most people, like, they know what to do. Like, why can't I just do it, right? We have this question in our heads of like, well, I even have a pair of dumbbells in my garage right now. Why will I not go into the garage, pick them up, and just do some RDLs, some curls, some presses? Why will I not do that versus stay on the couch and watch something? Okay. And the biggest factor here is it has to be fun. I would say for long term, but definitely initially, you need it to be fun. So in these scenarios, for most people, I recommend, like, look, go join a community-based gym, okay? Because you're gonna start having fun, hanging out with people, talking with people, just being in an environment where people are having fun. I'm a little bit of a reserved guy, a little bit more of an introvert, so I'm not usually like going to new places and just like, talking to everybody. But I still like to be in that environment because if other people are having fun, you're gonna also have fun, right? And so my first encouragement is find a fun place. There's so many cool gyms out there now, and they're doing fun stuff. It really doesn't matter what you do. Like, let us be, they make this shit so complicated, and they go, you need 13 sets per week of this, and you need to do this, you need to do potentiation first, and then you need to do this, and then this, and then this, and it has to be optimal. Man, you know what's most optimal? You go and you fucking have fun with a bunch of people, lift some weights, get your heart rate up. That's optimal. That's most optimal. So pick something. So if that's where you're currently at, you're struggling, just go find first, just put yourself in a community where people are having fun. And I know, it can be a little bit, not intimidating, but like, you feel a little uncomfortable, when you're in a new environment. But just remember, that a lot of these places are filled with very welcoming people who want to, want other people to also begin to change their lives, and they're very supportive. Okay, so that's number one. Fun. Okay, and you're not going to hear all the science-based guys and gals and people talking about how fun is a very important ingredient in your training if you want it to be permanent and sustainable, right? All right. Second thing, I would say the quality that is most overlooked is short workouts, like little workout snacks. That means anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, okay? I think starting to go beyond 20 minutes, you're getting closer into like what you might consider a full workout, whatever that means. Like, all these things are made up. But I believe, okay, that the practicality is the most important thing. And I believe that if you're a person who tends to be like, well, I need to do a full workout, or I'm not going to get anything out of it. Or, most people just don't think that you'll get anything from 5 minutes of doing anything. And that's just wrong. That's just flat out wrong. And I'll explain. So I usually don't like to get too technical, but I will get a little bit technical here because I think it's important to understand why and how literally a 1 minute workout or a 1 minute, training snack can be very, very important. Okay. So, got interrupted there. Phone call from the stores. All right, so the body doesn't actually care about all the things that humans think about. There is a principle that is called the SAID principle. The SAID principle stands for specific adaptation to imposed demand. If you can understand this, you can understand so much of what's going on with the body and how it works and how to get it to do what you want, okay? So the SAID principle, specific adaptation to imposed demand, basically what this means is if you do a certain thing to the body, then the body will respond to accommodate that thing. Let me give you an example. If I start jumping, right? Let's say I start jumping 100 times every day. Then the adaptation or the change that my body will undergo is that the tendons and ligaments in my feet, in my lower legs, they will start to get stiffer, and also or they'll be able to be more stiff on impact. And then there also will be able to be, you will get bouncier and springier because you're jumping more. Like, does it make sense for somebody who doesn't jump at all to be able to jump high? It does not. Their tissues have adapted to not that, right? So, all that being said, okay, we're gonna bring it back around. Like, well, I'm saying the second important key here to working or in your training that you're probably missing is short workouts, okay? And the reason I said that is because people think, okay, well, I'm gonna work out, I wanna get something out of it, I wanna cause change. Well, the way that the body adapts to things is if you give it more frequent, smaller doses, it will respond better than, oh, I'm gonna do this massive workout, hour and a half, 2 hours, and then that's it, because either you don't have time, so practically you might not have time to do that. But even more specifically, like, you need to remember that most of the stuff is, as far as like strength development, athleticism, this is all skill based. Okay, so I've said this, you know, in many other videos, but like, strength is a skill. Okay, athleticism is a skill. That means it's more neurological than the size of your muscle. Obviously, having a bigger muscle is gonna, you know, is gonna be potentially give you the potential for more strength, right? But since so much of strength is neurological, you can get much stronger simply by doing strength movements more frequently, right? And I'll say this, I'll share a little bit of my own like personal experience with this. Like I said, I'm 155 pounds, you know, give or take. I'm right around there most of the time. I'm 5'11". I'm a pretty skinny guy. But when I go and I play basketball, okay, I'm getting, you know, pretty much everybody I'm guarding is at least, you know, 20 to 30 pounds heavier than me, like almost always. I'm helping out the varsity team, high school team near where I am, and some of those guys are a little bit lighter. But for the most part, I'm guarding people that are 20, 30 plus pounds heavier than I am. And yet, I'm able to not only absorb contact and not lose my balance, I'm able to exert myself and not lose balance. So like a lot of times when I drive or I bump somebody, I'm not losing balance, right? And that's from strength. And so that's just something to like give a little bit of evidence to. And I'm sure you've seen or heard of people who you're like, you know, that guy's not very big, but how is he so strong? That's because so much of strength is neurological. It's a skill. And I've practiced that skill for almost 15, 16 years now. And, you know, I've gotten very, very strong, but I did not get any bigger, right? Like, I'm the same weight as when I started. And so this is something that's desirable for most people. Like, you know, this whole thing is like, oh, I would get hella big, bro. Okay, cool. Like, okay, do it. Personal preference. But then you also don't have any contact with reality. You don't know how this thing works. The first thing to do is actually, like, get as lean as possible. Get as lean as possible where you have a visible six-pack. Then you have a very good idea. You will learn so many things, and you will have a very good idea of what you're working with, what's your foundation, what do you want to do. You might find out, you know, you're a guy who's like 5'11", 200 pounds, and you know, that's just where you've always been, and then you start to lose fat, and you end up at 150 pounds. Mentally, most guys, they're so emotionally fragile, oh, I can't be 150 pounds, oh my God, there's no way I could be 150 pounds. Like, okay, so you would rather not look amazing, feel amazing, be really strong, because the scale doesn't say 180 pounds. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is all in your head. It's stupid. Which is one of the reasons that keeps a lot of guys, it keeps them fat, because they're so attached to this number on the scale that, oh my God, there's no way I could ever, you know, weigh less than 190 pounds, because then I'm not a man. Dude, like, this shit is so dumb. You know what being a man is? It's, you know, taking care of your family and being responsible, being respectful of other people, doing good things, doing good work, talking respectfully with people, contributing to people, right? That's being a man, not, oh, I'm 180 pounds, but you're a piece of shit, but you're 180 pounds. Like, what are you talking about? So these things are really side tangent, but these things are so silly. And the question to go back to is like, what am I even trying to doing? Or what am I even trying to do? What is the point? Why are we even talking about training and working out right now? I have my answer, but that's the question that you need to ask yourself, because otherwise we're all just wasting time. Like, we're doing shit without knowing why we're doing shit. My answer to why are we talking about this is because for me, I know that the leaner I am, the stronger I am, the more athletic I feel, the harder my body is, the better my life is across the board. Like, I've been fat, I've been skinny fat, I've been ripped. Being ripped is better than all other options. Like, this is not to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just from somebody. Like, how can somebody who's never been ripped tell me that it's better to be 50 pounds overweight and live life, but they've never had a six-pack? Like, they've never seen a six-pack, right? Like, I can tell you from experience, I've been 40 pounds overweight. I've also been skinny fat for a long part of my life. And then I've also been ripped for the majority of the last 14 years. It's better. So why are we even having this conversation? In our pursuit of that, right? Remember, our definition of health is your ability to engage with life on your terms. Meaning, can you do the things that you want to do in life, right? And I know that everything is better when I can take my shirt off and I'm like, damn, like, I feel good. I fucking look good. So training is a big component of that. The social media world and the culture in general and all these people out here, they make the training aspect very, very difficult. It's not. The training aspect is not difficult. Do something 3-4 times a week and do it forever. Doesn't matter. But that's why more important than finding the perfect program is it needs to be fun. So join a fun gym, a community-based gym, hire a coach, whatever. And then number 2, shorter workouts that you can plug in anywhere at any time. And now you're consistently giving the body a little dose that will cause the adaptation or the change that we want. That's why we're talking about this. I know this video is a little bit longer, you know, and I could have just summarized that point of, you know, make sure you're having fun and do a lot of short workouts. But without the context, it's not really very valuable. Like, you have to know the context around this stuff. Otherwise, it's just nothing. It's just lost in the noise. You know what? That's it. That's all for today. And if you watched all the way through to this point, you know what? Thank you very much. I appreciate it, because I've been doing this for a very long time. This stuff, making content, can really wear a person down, because most of the time you're not hearing anything back from anybody. At least not, like, you know, one of there's 2 main reasons that you make content. One of them is to get clients and make money. The other is to genuinely actually help somebody make a change. But usually people don't make a change unless they become a client, because it's just content. But if you did stick around and you watch this, then I really appreciate it. And I hope it helps. I hope it gives you something a little bit meatier to chew on. Most of the stuff in that we're consuming is specifically for the purpose of getting attention and getting eyeballs, and a lot of times that leads people to make, you know, stuff that will grab attention versus the actual thing that will cause the person to change, right? Like my question that I think about all the time, even for myself, is why do I make this decision which will widen the gap versus that decision which will close the gap, and both options are readily available to me right now in this moment. And that's the question, because what is causing a person to sit on their couch watching a show instead of going down to their local CrossFit or their local Barry's boot camp or whatever the hell it is and signing up for 3 workouts a week? What is that? What is stopping somebody from hiring a nutrition coach versus going out and eating, you know, 5-6 slices of pizza and drinking like 3 beers when both options are readily available? What is that thing? That's what I'm interested in, because you know what, none of this shit matters really. Money flows, comes and goes, it doesn't matter. What is really fun, it just makes me feel good, is like if I give you something and you got ripped, dope. You got strong, dope. That's all.